Have you ever wondered why, despite showering regularly, you still feel off? Not just tired or stressed, but something deeper. A strange, lingering odor that seems to follow you, no matter how clean you think you are. You've used the best soaps, changed your diet, even tried new cologne, but that subtle, unsettling scent remains. Here's the truth. No one talks about. There are areas of the body that most people simply don't clean properly. And ignoring them doesn't just hurt your hygiene, it could slowly be harming your health. I'm Marcus Vale, and today we're going to break the silence around this uncomfortable truth. Because failing to wash certain parts of your body isn't just a cosmetic issue. According to both science and the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, it's a reflection of how present you are in your own life. Neglect starts small, and it spreads often without you even noticing. But when you begin to reclaim your attention, your body responds. So, stay with me. In the next few minutes, you'll discover 10 commonly overlooked places that may be silently draining your energy, shortening your lifespan, and affecting how others perceive you. This isn't about vanity. It's about self-respect awareness and the quiet power of discipline, starting with the most basic act of care: how you clean yourself. Number 1, don't neglect your feet. This is where quiet deterioration often begins. Have you noticed that walking feels heavier than it once did? That your steps are less confident? Or that slipping into your shoes feels like more effort than it should? Many people chalk this up to aging, assuming that a decline in mobility is just part of growing older. But in truth, what wears us down isn't always time. It's what we fail to pay attention to. And the feet, often out of sight and out of mind, are among the first to be forgotten. Your feet carry the full weight of your life literally. They support your independence, your ability to move, to explore, to participate. Yet they're usually the last part of the body we give real care to. Over time, this lack of attention shows up in ways we often ignore until it's too late. Thickened nails dry, and cracked heels, persistent fungal infections, even minor injuries that never heal properly. All of these slowly erode not just physical function, but dignity and self-worth. And here's what's worse: most of it is preventable. According to medical research in foot health, neglecting your feet leads to muscular imbalances, chronic pain, and falls, especially in older adults. And one serious fall can change the entire course of your life, leading to hospitalization or permanent limitations. But it doesn't have to get to that point. The Stoics remind us that control begins with awareness, and your feet are still within your control. Simple acts like washing between the toes, cleaning under the nails, drying thoroughly, applying moisturizer, and checking for signs of strain aren't self-indulgent. They're acts of presence. They're declarations that you still have agency over where you're going. I once met a man who had stopped going outside because of foot pain. Just by caring for his feet daily, not only did his posture improve, but his confidence returned. Within a few weeks, he was walking to the cafe again, something he thought he had lost forever. There's a lesson here that goes beyond hygiene. Every step you take is a message to the world and to yourself. I'm still here. I'm still moving. So don't rush through your next shower. Pause. Check in. See your feet not as an afterthought, but as the very tools that keep you connected to life. And as we move on, remember this: your feet may carry you, but there's another part of the body that reveals just as much about how well you're truly living. And most people are ignoring it without even realizing the cost. Number 2, wash behind your ears. It's one of the smallest, most forgotten places on your body, yet it quietly says so much. The space behind your ears may seem insignificant, barely worth a second thought. But that's exactly why it becomes a silent mirror of how we treat ourselves when no one's watching. It's a place where neglect accumulates, not just in the form of oil sweat or dead skin, but as a subtle signal that we've started to overlook ourselves. You don't see it in the mirror. No one mentions it. And that's what makes it so easy to ignore. But every time you bypass that tiny crease behind the ear, a deeper message settles in, that some parts of you are no longer worth the attention. It's not about vanity. It's about presence. Because the truth is, the folds we forget often reflect the parts of ourselves we've unconsciously let go of. Imagine a man weighed down by grief. He's lost his partner. His routine has crumbled, and over time he stops tending to the details of his day. He still showers, still gets dressed, but the small things fade. The little rituals of care disappear one by one. One day, during a routine visit, his doctor notes an infection behind his ear. It's mild treatable, but it rattles him. Not because of the diagnosis, but because he suddenly sees it for what it really is, a quiet sign that he's no longer tending to his life like he used to. This isn't just metaphor. Dermatologists and microbiologists alike agree the area behind the ears is one of the most overlooked breeding grounds for bacteria. It holds on to sweat grime and sebum. Left uncleaned, it can trigger irritation, odor, and even infection. But more than that, it represents the invisible spots in our lives, the routines we abandon, the care we stop giving, the identity we slowly forget. Stoic philosopher Seneca once said that both body and soul must be cultivated, for they are tools of virtue. And caring for what's hidden, for what isn't praised or noticed, is one of the highest forms of self-respect. The act of simply washing behind your ears might seem trivial. But in truth, it's an affirmation: I haven't checked out. I haven't stopped caring. Because the moment you start tending to those forgotten spaces, you begin to reclaim a sense of self that may have slipped away. And while that part of your body may be easy to miss, the next one is harder to ignore, because it's where neglect doesn't just hide. It starts to push people away. And that's something we can't afford to overlook. Number 3, clean armpits. Let's talk about something simple, yet often ignored: your armpits. Not in a superficial way, but in a way that reaches deeper than just hygiene. The next time you're in the bathroom, standing alone with no distractions, try this. Raise your arms. Slowly. Look in the mirror and really notice yourself. Not with criticism or habit, but with presence. Are you truly washing yourself with care, or just going through the motions? This part of your body, though small, reveals much more than people realize. It's a place of vulnerability, where sweat, stress, and sometimes even shame collect unnoticed. But it's also a place of release. When you avoid cleaning your armpits with intention, you're not just skipping a routine, you're disconnecting from your body. And your body, like your mind, will respond to that disconnection. From a medical perspective, the armpit is a hotspot for bacteria that feed on sweat-creating odors that linger and grow stronger over time. If left untreated, these odors don't just affect your body, they affect how others respond to you. People may not say anything, but silence can speak volumes. You might begin to notice more distance, fewer interactions, a subtle sense of being avoided. And often we mistake this as social rejection, when in truth, it began with self-neglect. But it doesn't have to stay that way. In many traditions, from ancient Stoicism to holistic healing, the act of cleansing is sacred. It's not just about removing dirt. It's about letting go. Epictetus reminded us that our suffering often lies not in what happens to us, but in how we respond. And choosing to face even the smallest discomfort, like cleaning your armpits thoroughly, is a response that says, "I'm still choosing to care." It may seem like a minor gesture, but it's not. When you raise your arms to clean yourself with presence, you open yourself physically and emotionally. You create a moment of honesty with yourself. It's a quiet declaration: I still value my dignity. I still want to show up fully in the world. And maybe some of the heaviness you carry, the emotional weight, the exhaustion, the dull ache of disconnection has been trying to leave your body all along. You just needed to clear the way. So yes, wash your armpits. But do it with attention. Do it not because you have to, but because you're worth the effort. Because these small acts of care add up. They remind you that your body still matters, that you still matter. And as we move forward, remember the next part of the body we'll discuss may seem even more unimportant, but what it hides can have consequences far beyond what you expect. Number 4. The belly button isn't just decoration. It's one of the smallest, most overlooked places on your body. But what lives inside your belly button might surprise you. In 2014, scientists at North Carolina State University discovered something astonishing. The average human navel contains over 1,400 species of bacteria. Some had never even been identified before. That's not an exaggeration. It's an invisible universe nestled in the middle of your body, quietly collecting sweat oil, skin cells, and time. Most of us don't even think about it. We wash our face, our hands, even behind our ears. But our belly button, it's simply forgotten. But that neglect isn't harmless. When left uncleaned, your navel becomes a hidden breeding ground. Bad odors, skin irritation, and even infections can develop over time. And no, this isn't a matter of laziness. It's the kind of quiet oversight that happens when we move through life on autopilot. Even people who are diligent with hygiene often overlook this one area. Why? Because it's small. It's not visible unless you search for it. And yet, it's located right at your core. That's what makes this so symbolic. Your belly button is the scar of your beginning, the literal mark of how you were once nourished, connected, and brought into the world. And yet, as we grow older, we not only stop tending to it, we almost reject it, as if admitting we ever needed something beyond ourselves is a kind of weakness. But from a Stoic lens, this is precisely where self-respect begins, not in rejecting dependence, but in fully owning what is within our control. And nothing is more within your control than the way you care for your body, especially the parts you've stopped noticing. So next time you're alone in the mirror, slow down. Lean in. Take a close look at your navel. It might be clean. It might not. Either way, that small act of noticing is powerful. A damp cotton swab, a little warm water, a moment of quiet focus, that's all it takes to restore what's been neglected. And that act isn't just about hygiene. It's about presence. It's about reconnection. What if your belly button were more than a fold of skin? What if it symbolized every part of yourself? You've set aside old grief, quiet insecurities, parts of your past you never fully acknowledged. The body has its own language, and when it itches or irritates or smells, it's not just physical. It's a signal, a whisper, an invitation to return. To care for your belly button is to honor where you've come from without being chained to it. It's a quiet way of saying, even the parts I've forgotten still matter. Because as long as you're willing to care for what's been ignored, there is no part of you that can't be renewed. Number 5. Take care of your groin. It's one of the most private areas of the body, often ignored, rarely discussed, but critically important to your overall sense of well-being. The groin is not just another part of your body, it's a point of deep balance, a crossroads where movement, warmth, and vulnerability converge. And yet, many people go years without truly caring for this space. Not because they're careless, but because we've been conditioned to overlook what makes us uncomfortable to name. But what you avoid doesn't disappear. It accumulates. It manifests in irritation, in infection and tension that echoes through the rest of your body. The truth is simple: if your groin is neglected, it doesn't just affect how you walk. It affects how you feel about yourself. That subtle discomfort, that persistent itching or chafing, it doesn't stay local. It alters how you move, how you sit, even how you think. You become hesitant, guarded. You stop moving freely, and over time that physical limitation can mirror a mental one. You begin to shrink your comfort zone. You start to adapt to pain you were never meant to carry. In Stoic philosophy, harmony between body and mind is essential. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus both taught that we must care for what is within our power, and your body, every part of it, is fully within your control. The groin may feel awkward to talk about, but from a health standpoint, it's incredibly important. Dermatologists and traditional medicine practitioners alike agree this is a high-risk zone for trapped moisture, bacterial growth, and fungal infections, especially in warm climates or as we age. You don't need expensive products or invasive routines. You need intention. Next time you shower, slow down. Use a gentle pH-balanced cleanser. Clean carefully, rinse thoroughly, and most importantly, dry the area completely. Moisture is the enemy here. If necessary, use a natural antifungal powder or cream. But more than that, make it a practice. Not out of fear, but out of respect. When you do this consistently, something changes. Your body feels it. Your confidence rises. Even if no one sees the difference, you will feel it with every step you take. That shift, subtle, quiet, and deeply personal, is what Stoicism is about. Choosing what you can control, caring for what others ignore, living in alignment even in the smallest acts. In Taoist thought, the flow of vital energy, or qi, passes through the body's central regions. When the groin is clean and balanced, this energy circulates more freely. You feel more grounded, more alive. This isn't about vanity. It's about claiming the right to feel good in your body, to move without shame, to start the day without discomfort quietly dragging you down. How many times have you accepted irritation as normal? How often have you dismissed discomfort because it was easier than naming it? But you don't have to anymore. Reclaiming care for this part of your body is a decision that says, I am still present in my own life. And if you've stayed with me through this message, it says something powerful about you. Not everyone has the courage to confront the quiet ways they've let themselves go. But you're here. You're listening. And that means you're ready to live with more awareness, more dignity, and more balance. My name is Marcus Vale, and if this message struck a chord, if something inside you whispered, yes, this matters, then I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and join a community of people who are done making excuses. Leave a comment that says, I choose to care for myself every day, and share where you're watching from. It helps remind us that no matter how personal this journey feels, you are not walking it alone. And if there's someone in your life, a brother, a partner, a friend who might need this reminder, send this their way. Sometimes the most powerful change begins with a single conversation. Thank you for being here, for showing up, for choosing self-respect over silence. Until next time, keep walking forward with purpose, with care, and with the quiet strength of someone who has nothing to prove, but everything to reclaim.